so let's just move into some of the yoga translations for today. So the way I like to use the aerial yoga swings is similar to a combination of acrobatics, Pilates, TRX, and yoga. So there's a lot of variations that we can do, a lot of different dynamic movements. The easiest ones is to get people familiar with the swings and the stretch of the fabric is to do something they're familiar with. So in yoga, we do a lot of lunges and forward folds and things like that. So we're going to start out doing 12 yoga translations. There's basically about 55 postures that we're going to go through with the teacher training over the next few days. But we're going to break it down nice and slow. So we first come into a sumo squat. So we want to make sure, with the swing supporting us, that our knees are pretty much in line with our hips. And then we take our hands and we just press our knees out to the side to really get some good length through the hip flexors. And then what I like to do with the swings is I call it just like this, the swing and swagger. So I just swing from side to side a little bit. I basically want to let the body just hang, but also feel that groundedness and that engagement. If anybody ever feels like a little woozy or getting dizzy, then you just basically reground, come back to one of the basic poses, the centering poses, and usually the body will come back into balance. So now we're going to open it up a little bit more. Notice we can come into some semicircles. We're starting to work with like the spherical nature of the body. We're just pushing from side to side. Nice. And since it's just us today, we can really just explore and play and share. So let's take advantage of our little quantum family here, you know, and just enjoy getting outside of the normal routine as well. So usually I use the leg loops for like my marionette hands just to get them out of the way. You know, sometimes they just swing around. We don't really need them, but I also think it's fun to, again, just kind of like feel like we're orchestrating the energy and movement in the body. So it's like a little bit of a dance that happens here. Awesome. Good. So once we start to warm up the hips, then we can press back and bring our feet together. So I'm just going to just wiggle my feet, heel toe, so I get to center. So I'm in center, I'm going to lean back. So if anybody has like severe tightness in the upper body or lower back pain, neck problems, this is enough of a back bend. So your hands are still coming forward. If we can bring our wings out to the side, our arms just flap out, and then we can sway a little bit from side to side, called spanking. Arch and open, as well as twist from side to side a little bit. Now you notice if the neck feels tight or tired, you can clasp your hands behind your head. So if your elbows flare out, then just give yourself a little bit more support. And then you can also come into the full back bend with straight arms overhead. We have a lot of variations here to go from beginner to intermediate to advanced. We basically want to work with somebody at whatever level they're at. So after you come out of the back bend, you're just going to bend your knees and swing back and forth a little bit. Again, we're just playing in the swing, just enjoying the buoyancy in the body and the stretch. So next time you come back, inhale and open up. Exhale, go deeper into the back bend. I usually just tell people to start to initiate the synchronization of the breath and the movement. So let the breath create the movement so they stay connected to the inhalation as an expansion and the exhalation as a contraction or a deepening. Good. And then exhale back down, we sit down. We just bend our knees, and this time we're going to come all the way forward into angel wings. Nice. Good. Height.
Feeling a little taut. Spread it wide. Spread it wider.
Yeah, you just get used to that feeling in the underarms as well. So it's going to be pulling and rotating the shoulders back, and this is where people are most tight. So it's actually shifting the posture. You just have to arch and open the heart a little more, and you'll get used to it. Yeah, there you go. So just open up. can also use your hands to kind of like hold on to the swing and take some pressure off. If somebody's really getting irritated because their skin is sensitive there, just have them hold on to the swing. The same when we press back, we can use our hands and press into the swing, which obviously will take pressure off the underarms as well. Cool. So because it's us and because we get to play, we're going to do some loop-de-loops. So you're going to swing to the side and gain a little bit more momentum, and you're going to come all the way around. And then come back the other way when you're ready. Just do some loop-de-loops. They're so fun.
Those are super fun.
So from here, you can also start to spin and twist, which is like a whole other play thing I do sometimes. Not all the time. It depends on the crowd. But I do really enjoy doing from the loop-de-loops to the spin. So you should just kind of play a little bit with like really letting the swing guide you. And enjoy the kind of twisting action that happens when you get into angular momentum. So notice how much velocity you favorite word, velocity. The philosophy of speed. How much energy we generate through angular momentum. So when we start opening up the spirals in the body, we start accessing some of the free energy that already exists within the non-linear reality, this more spiraling, spherical reality. Very cool. So that's one of the ways that I like to start. Just really simple. Just gonna do a quick review again. Sumo squats, lunging from side to side. Then I'll walk my feet together, coming into a back bend. First doing this nice and slow, 5 breaths in each one. I go from back bend to bending the knees. I give people the variations where you can do the back bend like this, hands clasped behind the head or over. This would be the most advanced, right? Cool. And then bending the knees, coming forward into angel wings. Nice. Whee. And then exhale, sitting back. Swinging all the way into back bend. All the way forward, starting to synchronize with the breath, right? So awesome. This is just so much fun. Like, this is enough for people to like, oh, wow, I'm flying. Nice. So we always use tension in the swing. So it's just doing what you were doing to feel it. Now, if I sit back like this, without bending the knees, can you feel how I'm going to like fall at some point? So that's why we bend the knees and then we come back, right? So a little being in lower. Always keeping tension on the swing is usually what I say. Like always keep holding up. Yeah. Letting gravity hold you. Yeah. Because it's not like a big fall or anything, but the idea is that we're starting to work with that angular momentum and spiraling and spheres and stuff. So. All right, and then from there, sometimes I'll just do the shifts from side to side like this. It's like a side body opening. And then if it's really kind of fun, playful crowd, I'll do the loop-de-loops. So with that, you're just like shifting your weight. You're not pulling up on your arms at all. Yeah, I'm just shifting.
You're just pivoting your feet, really.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is just leaning and then letting the swing take me. Right? Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so fun.
It's so fun. Okay, I got it. You got it? Yeah. Got it. Yeah, and just play with it, because that's why I don't always do. Just keep getting hit. So yeah, if you keep getting hit with your leg like you can hold on to them, huh? Hold on to them too.
Well, eventually you get a little pattern you just like go around.
Yeah, totally. Woo! Yeah, you can really start flying here, which is so cool, right? Like I'm not doing anything, it's just happening. And then you can spin. Right, and just pick up my feet on the side angle, and I spin, which is really cool. My beans all seem to be doing well, so they're awesome. We'll just set this a little more. All right, so now we're going to incorporate some of the leg loops. So we're kind of half training, half doing the workshop because it's last weekend. Might as well use the time, right? Yeah. So I start with the leg loop behind the knee. I'm not exactly following the same routine, but it's okay. We don't have to do it in the exact order. So I start behind the knee because this is a really awesome pose. It just feels good on the body. So this one I call chillaxing. So chillaxing is your hips are heavy, you're not doing much. I would walk them slowly through picking up one foot and then letting yourself dangle. It's amazing. Like, people seriously can't pick their foot up and put it in the leg loop. And so we just have to be like, you can do it, you know, and just be really patient with them because, like, I don't know, the kind of mental energy and then the body intelligence. You guys all have body intelligence. It's natural to us. We're just like, just pick your leg up and put it in the leg loop. But they're just like, you know, so we just say, okay, so I'm going to do it again really slow. Because when you work with masterful beings, you forget that you have to actually step by step walking through it. So it's like pull the leg loop down, stretch it, get your foot in there, and then slide it up into the back of the knee. Right? And if I went this slow with you guys, you'd be like, oh my God.
But it's good. But we need to hear
Right?
it. I
And
like
then
hearing it. Like you're giving it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and so then, because I'm considering who you will be working with, right?
Totally.
So I work with people who are 80, you know, I love working with, like, you know, all ages, all genres, it's fun. And then you let yourself dangle. So we do a lot of work actually incorporating the floor here too, which is really fun. And if somebody's knee is bothering them, I'll just say, we'll just lift the bottom leg, which engages the core a little more. Or if somebody's happy with the ground, then we do some poses like this, which is really fun. Right now we're going into chillaxing. So we use the floor a lot too. There's a whole thing with the floor and using the swing well. So you have to let the person know, okay, now you're going to just float. You're going to dangle and then pull yourself up. Use your core to get your other foot in there. And it'll take them a good 70 seconds to do that on their first try. And then once you start teaching like more advanced people, they just pop right into it. They're just fun. Just know to slow it down a lot if you're working with people who are pretty new to the body. I'm all like, oh, it's the first time in the body, huh? So here, again, if you're feeling any sort of tension in the underarms, you just lean back. You just arch and open. And keep the hips heavy. Press your hands behind your head. And the full chillaxing pose is with the elbows floating out to the side, eyes closed, a slight sway and swagger in the swing. All the S's. And this should feel really, really good. It's like, oh, here's my nap.
Awesome.
Right? It's like at the beach, chilling it. Cool. So I always tell people this is your neutral pose. Come back to this pose if we're ever doing something and it just doesn't feel right for your body today. Even if it's something that you normally do, like
child's pose.
Yeah. Well, there's a floating child's pose that is like this, actually, which I was going to say next. Always keep your arms on the outside of the swing. This is how we hold onto our anchor, right? So we're going to review our holds. We have a hold at the knee, and we have a hold at the underarm. If our arm comes in, which people do all the time, seriously, we just have to tell them, okay, keep your arms around,
Yeah,
keep
that's
them
not
wide.
safe. You can just like dip right out then on that.
Yeah, and it just happens, and so they only usually do it once, which is a good news. So cool. So the floating child's pose from chillaxing is you just pull everything in towards center. And we'll just go through this whole sequence because it's awesome and feels really good. Just start out here. So my forehead is just kind of gently laying in the nape of my hands. So this floating child's pose is really great for kind of centering and containing the energy. The chillaxing, which is also restorative, is way more open and expressive and playful, right? So if somebody is feeling like much more inward, then the floating child's is a great pose to just hang out in. And this is the only pose where, you know, I really let people curve, like curl in, and let their shoulders roll up. Like I don't give them any like structural instruction. I just let them do their thing. Yeah, of course, if they want to engage, that's great, but I don't worry about that as much. Almost every pose, I'll remind people, okay, now pull your shoulders down away from your ears, and you just look. You know, you guys are good, but if you see somebody like with a teeny neck, say, okay, lengthen through the neck, bring your shoulders down, and then we're going to get into some windshield wipers. So whenever I just have the legs swinging from side to side, and it does take a little bit for people to get that momentum, like they have to figure it out. Like how do you swing from side to side, right? Windshield wiper. And this is the first part. And we can get really crazy and big here too, because we're kids, right? Because we're out freaking out.